Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. A terror plot to target LA freeways. The Santa Monica Pier and police thwarted how FBI agents caught the Army veteran they say was planning the attacks. Coming up.
A correctional officer opens fire on several inmates inside Kern Valley State Prison. We'll tell you what happened and why prison officials had to step in.
The measles outbreak worsens and it's expected to keep spreading. Doctors urging vaccination, especially for this group of people. Details on this Tuesday, April 30th, 2019. Good morning. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher and Kevin Charette.
Welcome back, Kevin.
I'm back.
Tan and looking refreshed.
I had no problem getting up at 3 o'clock this morning.
Right, because in Florida, that is.
Yeah.
6 o'clock.
6
Yes.
o'clock.
Stay on that schedule.
I know, right? So feeling nice and fresh. Glad to be back. Had a good time off, and always good to be back here on the desk with you two.
Yeah, it's good to have the team
you.
back together.
And I didn't
again.
work yesterday, and we had a little bit of storm activity that rolled through. Felt
Busy
like
day.
Florida.
Nice.
So kind of a little bit of a welcome with the thunderstorms. Not so much today, though. More sunshine in your forecast. Let's talk about it. And skies have already started to clear out. We're mostly clear out there currently. A few clouds into the mountains, but that is about it right now. And as we take a look at the temperature, 56 in Bakersfield right now. A north wind at 10. And here's a look at the hour by hour. We'll start out in the 50s, and then throughout the day, we're going to be in the mid-70s. So nice and comfortable for you. Tehachapi, you're at 45, 100% on the humidity with a dew point at 45, so a little bit of cloud cover in some areas, and a northwest wind at 12. I expect the breeze to be around today. Started out in the 40s, and then this afternoon, we are looking at the lower 60s.
Police in Ridgecrest are trying to track down a suspected gunman. The department has identified him as 33-year-old Jose Leal. Ridgecrest police say officers were dispatched to the 300 block of West Wilson Avenue around 7:30 yesterday morning. That's where they found a man suffering from a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Now authorities are asking for help finding the suspect. If you have any information, call 760-499-5100. Meanwhile, an 18-year-old suspected of shooting and killing a man is scheduled to appear in court this afternoon. Earlier this month, 24-year-old Daniel Macias was shot multiple times while sitting in a car on Panama Lane just off H Street. And on Saturday, BPD officers arrested Christian Campos on suspicion of the murder. He's being held without bail.
An investigation is underway at a local prison after an attack on one inmate led correctional officers to open fire on another. It happened yesterday morning in one of the recreational yards at Kern Valley State Prison. CDCR officials say 4 inmates stabbed another prisoner several times. Prison guards ordered the inmates to stop, but that didn't work, nor did the release of chemical agents. That's when a guard discharged 1 round from a Mini 14 rifle. CDCR says one of the attackers was shot. 3 of the attackers and the inmate officers say they attacked were taken to the hospital. No word on how they're doing.
5:03 now. A U.S. Army veteran is behind bars accused of plotting attacks on freeways, beaches, and police in the Los Angeles area. Federal agents also say he's expressed his support for ISIS. NBC's Dan Sheneman explains the reason the veteran said he planned to carry out the attacks.
Mark Stephen Domingo, a 26-year-old Army vet who served in Afghanistan, is accused of planning to carry out a terror plot.
This is a case in which law enforcement was able to identify a man consumed with hate and bent on mass murder and stop him before he could carry out his attack.
According to prosecutors, Domingo told the FBI he had a list of possible targets, including police and patrol cars, the LA freeways, the Santa Monica Pier, and a planned white nationalist rally.
He was taken into custody after he took receipt of what he thought were pressure cooker bombs, and after he traveled to Long Beach to survey the site where his intended victims were to congregate. But fortunately, the IEDs that he planned to use weren't actual bombs. They were inert devices provided by the FBI that posed no danger to the public.
Prosecutors say Domingo, who recently converted to Islam, wrote an internet message that he wanted to retaliate for a deadly shooting spree at mosque in New Zealand. And that's when he caught the eye of authorities.
This was a rapid, what we call radicalization to mobilization to violence. This was sometimes we get asked what keeps you up at night. This is a case that keeps us up at night.
Domingo is now facing a charge of providing material support to terrorists. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
It is 5:05 now, and stay out and stay alive. The Sheriff's Office is urging anyone looking to test the waters in the Kern River this summer to use extreme caution. Once again, the officials updated the sign at the mouth of the canyon to reflect the total number of deadly drownings in the river as recorded over the last 5 decades. It now says 298 lives have been lost in the river since 1968. That's nearly 6 lives every year. Just yesterday, an additional death from 2 years ago was added to the tally, meaning 16 people drowned in the Kern River in 2017, making it a record year. That was the last year we had above average snowpack in our mountains, and this year we have similar conditions. And because of that, KCSO fears the river will be even more dangerous this season.
We expect that river levels are going to be high, much higher than average, and that the river is going to be more dangerous than normal.
Ahead of the summer months, KCSO and the Kern River Conservancy have kicked off a 3-part river safety campaign. One piece of advice: if you want to go in the river, go with professionals. And if you get caught by the current, float on your back with your feet up in a lawn chair position. Ever wonder what the inside of a sheriff's office looks like? Well, now is your chance to find out. The Kern County Sheriff's Office is offering a behind-the-scenes look at the department. It's happening Thursday night from 6 to 7:30 at the KCSO headquarters on Norris Road. The tour includes the SWAT team, bomb squad, K-9 unit, training simulators, and a lot more. KCSO says spots are limited. If you want to sign up for the tour, you can call the Crime Prevention Unit at 391-7559.
The number of cases just keeps going up. Public health officials have released new information about measles cases nationwide.
And they say they expect it to keep increasing before the outbreak is contained. Erica Edwards breaks down the latest figures.
The number of highly contagious measles cases nationwide is the highest it's been in 25 years. With 704 cases reported in 2019 alone, according to the CDC. Doctors are urging vaccination, especially for people traveling outside the U.S., saying that without the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, the outbreaks would be much worse.
The reason there's only 700 cases as opposed to 70,000 or 700,000 cases is because of the vaccines that we have.
Most of the current cases are in pockets of unvaccinated people, like in New York State, which has reported 474 cases so far this year. Proposed legislation in New York would end all non-medical vaccine exemptions in that state, including ones based on religion.
You have a First Amendment right to practice your own religion, but you do not have the right to endanger your children or worse, other people's children.
That's the message from a mother in England, a country experiencing similar measles outbreaks. Jilly Moss posted these photos of her infant daughter on Facebook. Baby Alba was too young to be vaccinated, but caught the measles and had to be hospitalized. It has been absolutely horrific watching our daughter fight this, Moss writes. The truth is, this all could have been prevented if the protection layer of older kids above Alba had been vaccinated. Measles can cause a high fever, rash, pneumonia, brain inflammation, and death. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
And as Erica mentioned, most people affected by the outbreak are unvaccinated, but the vast majority of parents do vaccinate their children.
The CDC says 94% of kindergartners have had both recommended doses of the MMR vaccine. And of course, you have to have those now to do public school in California, unless you have a medical exemption. That's the only exemption allowed in California.
And even that medical exemption could, depending on lawmakers' decision, could even become more tough to get, depending on who makes that exemption. And the new Walmart in Tehachapi is looking to fill several positions. The store is looking to hire 200 employees as it gets ready to open this summer. If you're interested, you can apply in person at the hiring center located at 1001 West Tehachapi Boulevard, or you can apply online at careers.walmart.com. After decades of serving Chinese food to Bakersfield, the longtime restaurant closed its red doors for good. China Palace on California Avenue held its last day of service on Sunday. A note on the door reads, "To our loyal customers, after 35 years, we have decided to retire and will not be renewing our lease." The owners told 17 News crews finished clearing out the restaurant yesterday. They also thanked customers for their support. through the years, and it is definitely sad to see them go. Well, it is a warning homeowners say you need to hear. NBC News investigated the popular home improvement site HomeAdvisor by partnering with affiliates who reported on dozens of home repairs disasters nationwide. Morgan Chesky has the details of this NBC News investigation.
You may have seen the commercials.
For over 15 years, homeowners have trusted HomeAdvisor.
HomeAdvisor promises to screen contractors who will go into your home for projects ranging from plumbing to remodeling.
HomeAdvisor conducts criminal and financial background checks on their service professionals.
But NBC affiliates across the country have uncovered dozens of HomeAdvisor contracting disasters. In Omaha,
everything had to be torn out and redone.
In Atlanta,
everything that was done was a disaster.
And in Charlotte, affiliate WCNC found Julie and Jeff Vickers in the middle of a remodel turned nightmare. So we checked back in with them.
How long has it been looking like this?
About a year and a half.
The contractor HomeAdvisor recommended, Kenneth Bell.
He installed the tiles and they're hollow back there. Moisture can get in here, so all of this has to be ripped out.
The Vickers say Bell abandoned the job, leaving their home a mess. Again, HomeAdvisor says it performs criminal background checks, but what they missed, the Vickers found with a simple Google search.
We pretty easily found out that he was a convicted felon.
A felon?
Convicted federal felon who had been on probation, again, almost the entire time that he was on our job.
Kenneth Bell, who pleaded guilty to a drug charge, declined to comment. HomeAdvisor told NBC News that prior to the Vickers complaints, the company removed Bell from its network for an unrelated reason, adding in a statement that customer satisfaction is a top concern, that they screen all applicants in their network and are constantly working to improve our screening processes. But no screening process is foolproof, and we are very deeply disheartened about what the Vickers experienced. But the Vickers say those words ring hollow as they're left picking up the pieces. Tom Bartholomew from the Charlotte Better Business Bureau says HomeAdvisor may be a starting point, but warns.
It doesn't really matter where you find a business, but you still have to do some due diligence. You still have to do some research.
Thanks for listening to the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's a 15-minute summary of everything you need to know about Kern County. There's a new episode every weekday.